drag racing fan, good morning. Welcome back to the Monday Morning Racer platform. Thank you to all of you that are watching, whether it's on the Competition Plus Facebook page or the Monday Morning Racer pages on the YouTube channel, Facebook, and everywhere else you may be seeing this. Thank you. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Good morning. I know where I'm at here in Manchester, Tennessee. Not much drag racing to be going on this Saturday for your local bracket program or your big one-off show. Storms rolling in. And we're going to be talking to an individual that knows about storms rolling in, of the figurative and the literal, and that is Mr. David Sharp, man trying to get Rocket City Dragway, old Huntsville, if you will, back on the map. And he did a stellar job last year and continues to move forward in 2025 with the good work down there. Really, from where I'm at in Manchester, Tennessee currently, it is the closest drag strip to me that I am aware of. The ones in Tennessee that are near me, they're not that far, but they are farther than actually the one there in Huntsville, Alabama. So currently kind of the home track, and certainly enjoy getting down to Huntsville to Rocket City Dragway. Was there on a couple occasions last year for Extreme Top Fuel. You can see that video on Monday Morning Racer. You can also see Pro Mod action there on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel as well. Great shows in their own rights, and certainly worth catching in 2025. We're going to be talking with David about the programs that are coming up for Rocket City Dragway. Before we do take a break and get him on, I do want to remind each and every one of you that I was out at March Meet, the 67th Good Vibrations Motorsports March Meet there at Famoso Drag Strip. And right now on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel, you can catch full elimination recaps of Top Fuel Eliminator, AA Fuel Altered from the March Meet, and Fuel Alters there in Bakersfield. It's just done right, and it is just cool. And rolling out this morning, Nitro Funny Car eliminations on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel. So you can swing by the YouTube channel and get in March Meet if you have not been able to see the action from March Meet, or if you were not able to attend. By the way, if you have not attended March Meet, that as a drag racing fan, that as a drag racer, is a bucket list trip. It's a bucket list destination, a bucket list race to attend and or participate in. You've got to get out to Bakersfield, California for the March Meet when you are able to do that. Put it on the list. Make it where you're able to do that. But you can see the action on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel with Top Fuel, AA Fuel Altered, and Nitro Funny Car. Swing by, watch those videos, hit the like button, and tell a friend, and put it on in the garage, and have a cold one or two, and enjoy some drag racing brought to you by Monday Morning Racer. Very thankful to Fuel Altered Chaos for stepping up and supporting the coverage of Fuel Altered drag racing there at March Meet. November 14th, 15th, Fuel Altered Chaos will be taking place at Tucson Dragway. That is a heads up, run what you've brung, all Fuel Altereds allowed drag race. It's going to be wild, and it is going to be a good one for Fuel Altereds in November there at Tucson Dragway. And thank you to Ross Racing Engines and Hilton Hot Rods for stepping up and helping out on the coverage for Top Fuel Eliminator. Whether it is rodding or racing, you need Ross Racing Engines. And if you're going to ride around to the hilt, it's Hilton Hot Rods that you need to get your hot rod done by. I want to thank as well McKinney Corp for supporting the Nitro Funny Car coverage. This show is brought to you by McKinney Corp. This word from McKinney Corp, and right after, David Sharp of Rocket City Dragway, right here on the Monday Morning Racer Between the Slicks.
McKinney Motorsports is your #1 source for all your chassis needs. McKinney Motorsports is the leading chassis parts supplier and fabricator in nitro drag racing. From custom tanks and fittings, full chassis builds, body mounts, steering components, fasteners, tabs, clamps, composite parts, and much more. Our household name in the racing world guarantees added performance on the track. Join our list of proven winners that spans over 50 years of racing experience.
David Sharp, Rocket City Dragway. Man, good to have you. Always good to bump into and chat with you or be down at that facility. What is going on in Northern Alabama?
Shoot, I think, Lee, I think I ought to be asking you that. I'm almost kind of in the mood that I want to interview you. I say, last time we talked, let's see, you done got married on me. You
Yes,
set the world's
right.
record on travel miles, either air or on land. And, you just mentioned McKinney. You make sure that, with me, you and Murph were able to get together some time there at PRI. Make sure he's aware that I still got his tickets at Will Call. And you drag him down here to a couple of these events. This is right up his alley. When you mentioned what the team there at March Meet does, I second that. That is just a great event, well put on. And, a lot of the younger kids today have never seen a spectacle like that.
Absolutely. We'll have to certainly get Murph down to Rocket City Dragway. There's a lot that I know he would enjoy in Huntsville. He is a pilot himself, so I know he would love an opportunity to fly down anywhere and be able to experience all that Rocket City Dragway has and Huntsville has. So there's a lot for anybody who is into aeronautics.
Yeah, all those parts that he designs, trust me, he put some pressure on some of our rocket engineers here. So great things he's doing there. You'd mentioned some of the classes that you were able to feature there at the March Meet, and one of the new things kind of developing here is since we last talked is we've got the night of nostalgia nitro that's coming here. I know last year you were here when the Extreme Top Fuel guys descended on the Rocket City here, and this year they're coming back. So you get another chance to get a dose of nitromethane first week in May. And we've also reached out to Butch Hill and his team with the Nostalgia Drag Racing League, the NDRL, and going to open it up to allow those guys. It's not a points race, but it does give them an opportunity to test, and I mean test on a prep surface, an all concrete surface, a surface that is going to replicate the type conditions they're going to see in the 6 events that they have planned for the NDRL. And, some people say, well, you got the purist out there that's going to say, hey, drag racing should be a quarter mile. Yeah, and I love quarter mile drag racing, but I will brag a little bit about the 8th mile drag racing. There's not a bad seat in the house. You get to see, if it's a bracket car, you get to see them playing with the gas and the brakes as they're going through, kind of watching one another. If you're watching a heads up race, you know who won. You'll get to see it right there, in person, right up front. And in general, when we've had people in the past, and we do a lot of testing here, everything from, super stock base cars to heads up to gassers. And in general, if you can get your car to run in the first 60, 330, and 660, the rest of it, I'm not saying you're along for the ride, but it gives you a good test point. And, when the Extreme Top Fuel guys were here, and ladies, they didn't change anything on their cars. And we recommend people just leave their cars the way they are and come run with us. Butch has put together 6 classes. He's got Pro 4.0, Pro 4.80, Pro Gas, Pro Comp. He's got modified production, and that is right in our wheelhouse here in the South. You're talking about manual shift, high winding motors. We've got Nostalgia Superstock, and all that culminates into, again, an opportunity to come out. We're working the purses with Butch to get that established. But, you think about Huntsville, Alabama, since last time we talked, Lee, we're putting 10 people a day here. That's how fast our little city's growing. So if you think about that, last time I told you, you got the state of Alabama makes up about 1.3% of the national population. And our little city here is the 27th largest city now in the United States. So that's, it's kind of hard to comprehend that you got a state that doesn't make up a lot of the population, but the city here is the 27th largest now, even larger than Chicago. And we're putting about 10 people a day. And I think one of the opportunities we're allowing here is the NDRL's had about 6 events. If you look at it kind of over the history, kind of in the same locations, we're giving you an opportunity to get in front of a new crowd, a new demographic, a new set of eyes. And what a better way to, ooh and ah and wow our fans here in the South, and also give you an opportunity to, like you were just mentioning, you're going to see some of the same stuff that you would see at the March meet in, a little more neck down, condensed fashion. But we would have that here, and you kind of got to get the flavor of what it was like, in the 1960s and 1970s to race.
I know from the time of covering Extreme Top Fuel, and many of those that were at Extreme Top Fuel, I already knew many of those racers, then see them in the context of Rocket City Dragway, 8th Mile drag racing, many of them accustomed to just quarter mile drag racing. They really didn't know how it was going to turn out. But something I think a lot of folks don't understand, and I'll relay this from many of those competitors, they might have wanted to do quarter mile wherever they go. And at Rocket City Dragway, they're doing 8th mile. But I know of a few of those competitors, at least one in particular, that is a staunch defender of your facility because of your fans and the people. And they're like, hey, look, I don't want to go 8th mile racing anywhere except Rocket City Dragway. Those people were awesome. They were engaged. They were tuned in. They were hungry for drag racing and for drag racers to show up and put on a show. So for anyone out there that is like, man, I don't know about 8th mile racing, look, put that on the back burner. Go run your car and have fun and experience a great drag racing crowd. That's something you've got down there at Rocket City Dragway, working on your behalf.
And we're blessed with that. We've got a crowd, a fan base here that's just passionate. And when you think about drag racers in general, most drag racers are competitive. If you go grab any of one of Jimmy Young's Extreme Top Fuel people, you take one of Butch Hill's, if they're playing tic-tac-toe, they want to win. So, what we're extending the olive branch here, and, just big thanks to Butch Hill and his whole team at the National Nostalgia Drag Race League, what they're doing. If you look at from a Bowling Green standpoint, they make up the largest percentage of the car base there. And, they're just putting on a great show and just keeping the nostalgia theme, the nostalgia cars and all that alive. And again, we just want to give them another opportunity to get in front of a different fan base, a different kind of spectrum of that. Hey, when you're here and you're in our pits, when you were here, you get to see it. Look, you literally are walking right from the pits right to the stands, and bam, you're right there with the action. So we're excited about that opportunity. Butch is going to start, turning up the gain on the advertiser of that, so we can get that locked in. But think about it. We're setting the foundation here, and my goal is, I'll be up front. I want this to be a points race at one time. And am I going to be patient? Yes, definitely. We want to do this test opportunity here. At the Night of Nostalgia and Nitro, that's going to be on May 2nd and 3rd, and it gives the teams 2 big days to test before they get to go into their point series for the NDRL and the Extreme Racing. By the way, it will be a points race. So can't say enough about what those teams did. I just came back yesterday from Total Venue Concepts, buying some more track equipment, and we're committed to having this surface the best it can be. And Kurt Johnson and his team along with our staff is, since we talked, I think you were at the last event there, Lee, but we set the track record here in a door car, 365, 200 plus and some change. Hollywood Hank Stubbs doing that. During the summer there, we had a car go 897 in the 60 in a door car to 152-degree track temp, and we had a dragster go 847. So track is really starting to come back into its own for what we'd say the Huntsville Dragway heydays, and now it's the Rocket City Dragway. And again, we're still probably crawling a little bit, but we're excited about what 2025 brings, and this nostalgia piece is a big part of that.
You are certainly astute in Rocket City Dragway history. Huntsville Dragway, Satellite Dragway, all the different renditions it's had.
You get bonus points. So you just called out the Satellite Dragway. You're the only podcaster announcer I've had to do that. Good job.
Right. And I think I'm missing one. It was like something county at one time.
Manassas was the first.
There we go. Yes. So
Yeah.
yes, I mean it's had many different names, but same location. And you look over the history of drag racing. You mentioned purists. Well, I think a lot of the purists that throw out there drag racing supposed to be quarter mile, I don't think they're purists. They're pseudo purists because they don't understand that drag racing has had many different links in which people have raced to determine a winner and a loser. There's 8th mile drag strips. There has been 10th mile drag strips. I think of the indoor racing that happened for like 3-4 years in Chicago. That was like a 330-foot track that they were racing to determine a winner. So the history of Rocket City Dragway, has it always been an 8th mile facility? Has it?
No, good catch there, Lee. So this track originally was built as a quarter-mile track, and it went from a quarter mile in the south. At some point, the cars started getting faster. A lot of the cars didn't have disc brakes, so on, so they converted to 1,000-foot. And 1,000-foot for here for many years was a staple. You got up into the later years, later 70s, IHRA come along. You had bracket racing, give an opportunity for pretty much anybody to run their car against someone else. And this track here converted to 8th mile. And if you go look, some of the biggest spectacles and crowds you're going to see today, if you go take what West Buck is doing over there with the World Series of Pro Mods, that's a 8th mile race. You go look at Donald Duck Long, what he's doing with Torres and the group down in South Georgia. That is a facility that is packed with fans to go watch 8th mile racing. And it's just what I told you. There's not a bad seat in the house, and you're getting to see cars just big power, big speed, big shock and awe. And the other piece that you look at here, like you take one of our local guys here, Shane Thrillbilly Stack, he's a multi-time limited drag radial champion. His car runs, I think in his testing out here, he run in the 380 range, 195 plus miles an hour. That car in a quarter mile at 3,350 pounds would be like 250 miles an hour. That's a scary ride, and I don't know if everyone expected some of these cars to ever have the horsepower they had, but being able to have that brute horsepower contained in a small area for 660 feet is just a win-win, I believe, for the racers, the fans. And I think most racers would tell you that they don't tear up as many parts, especially when you start dealing with nitro and other things in an 8th mile facility that they do in a quarter mile facility.
Absolutely. And I see that with what Chris Graves is doing with Funny Car Chaos and Nitro Chaos, and now to come up Fuel Altered Chaos. Many of these competitors, they were accustomed to quarter mile racing, but he has got an 8th mile series, and it is really designed for the racer. So they don't have to tear up their stuff all the time. They can continue to maintain a racer's edge and also go to facilities that had been overlooked. Mocan Dragway, though it has quarter mile speed traps, beyond the 8th mile, you're getting into territory where it might not be as safe with Armco barriers, that type of technology. So they race to the 8th mile. Or I think of where like Chris Graves started, Amarillo Dragway, or even in Odessa, these places that they're still fine facilities. A national event may not show up, but a Funny Car Chaos, a Nitro Chaos, a Fuel Altered Chaos can and is the big show. I think that's no different for Extreme Top Fuel and NDRL showing up to a place like Rocket City Dragway. And it just fits, especially I think that nostalgia theme. You've got there kind of a throwback facility. Like I love the arched bridge over the staging lanes.
Exactly.
Talking about a piece of just it's iconic in my opinion, and it is nostalgic, and everything fits right there at Rocket City Dragway for that which is in the past and that which is now and into the future. You've got the place, and the timing is right for Rocket City Dragway to, pun intended, lift off.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Lee. That's kind of the message we've been trying to deliver here. If you look at the facility, like you said, it's got rich history going back from the early days of the nitro funny cars and the gassers, and this was the spot. If you were traveling, you had to come to Harvest, Alabama, 502 Quarter Mountain Road out here, and say that you've been at our facility. And over the upgrades of the year, we've been fortunate enough to have an all concrete surface with concrete walls, and it gives the look and feel of a big track. Of a quarter-mile facility, but it kind of gives you that Southern hospitality, Southern charm feel that you can just walk and go right in the pits and meet with the crews and the drivers, and literally you turn yourself around and walk another 50 feet, and now you're in the stands, and you can feel all the action, in your chest, on your feet, in the bench. So we're excited, and again, the NDRL team, this is an opportunity for, we've got, think about it, I just told you, we got 10 people moving every day. You got a young audience. There's a lot of people that, from that, what I'm gonna call 25 age, from 16 to 25, that's never seen nostalgia cars. And, allowing to go to another track, a new venue, is going to open up that aperture to, gives NDRL more exposure, gives the drivers and the teams more opportunity to sell shirts and their wares, and put the word out for their sponsors. So again, we think it's a win-win. You were kind of mentioning the what Chris and his teams do with Chaos. Me and you may have to go grab him, go have a steak dinner, and talk about getting him down here this way as well. And we're open to that idea. We love what the Chaos team's doing across the United States with nitromethane and so on. You look at the March meet and the fuel altereds. For fans that's never seen a fuel altered, I mean, that is just the maximum of adrenaline. 90-inch wheelbase cars with burning Hemis in them, and we've got that booked for our Night of Thunder and Fire here at Rock City Dragway. That's on June 6th and 7th, and I've twisted the arm, and we've got just think about this list of names here. This making some of the trek from the West Coast, but Randy Bradford, the Bradford Fiat since the 1960s, still going strong, still got his machine shop going, carrying on his dad's legacy from all the crank grinding they did back in the day. We've got the High Heaven fuel altered. David Giles is driving that now, and we're expecting big things out of them. The Rat Trap, the world famous Rat Trap, unfortunately, Ron Hope's not with us, but Brian and his grandson Michael are carrying on that legacy. They're going to be here. And then we got the outlier there, the Rat Poison, and their team coming in. But we've got that shootout. We've even conned the fire truck coming in here. So the wheel stander, Studebaker, he's got flame coming out of the roof out the back. And then we've got Thunderstruck jet car coming here. So it's going to be a fun event. And I encourage you to load up your wife and bring her down for that June 6th, 7th event. That's going to be a great opportunity again to see nitromethane up front and personal right here at the Rock City Dragway.
That is going to be a spectacular event. Just pulled some photos that Night of Thunder and Fire, June 6th and 7th. This dude in this Studebaker truck, he delivers. Like this I love wheel standers.
We've been talking, and I was like, I told my son, I said, this is just fits Rocket City Dragway. We got to have this. So yeah, we're excited, and we're even coordinating, try to get him to come back again at the end of the year as well. So
yeah, he delivers, man. I mean, total package. Like I've seen a lot of wheel standers as a fan of drag racing for all of my life. I can remember Hell's on Wheel Tank and, Hemi Under Glass. And, just I've seen so many of them, the Cool Bus, and they're all great. But this dude, I saw him first time this year, or past year, 2024 at Cordova. And man, he's got it all. I mean, fireworks, siren, lights, sparklers, and just can go the whole quarter mile up in the air. I mean, just phenomenal.
Yeah, we were talking last year, and I told you, our goal here is to kind of be if you took Chick-fil-A and Barnum Bailey Circus, put them together, that's kind of look in the field, shock and awe with good family fun. And, from promotion standpoint, I've always kind of, of course, what Bill Bader done was just outstanding. But, Larry Carrier, Ted Jones starting out IHRA, and you got Bill Donner that was on the West Coast. They were really big into shock and awe. And I got a chance, ironically, after I saw you at PRI, to talk with Ted a little bit. And when I was a kid going up to Bristol, I saw everything from a man on a snow shovel skiing behind a Harley Davidson going down the track to a jet powered go kart to a semi tractor trailer racing. So, and I asked Ted, I said, what made you gravitate toward those kind of events? He goes, hey, that's what that's what the fans want to see. They want to see something they've never seen before. And that fire truck meets that to the T. So yeah, that's going to be it's worth the price of admission just to come see him. Now, I do have an opportunity for you, Lee. As part of our goal, this foundation here will always be drag racing is number one, and it is the priority. But I do see value as this being an event center and a community engagement area. And we've been working really close with our county commissioners, county commission chair, Mac McCutcheon, who's just a great guy, great leader. He was over our state political forum, and he's moved here into Madison County. But we've got April 4th, 5th, and 6th. Now, you just put your wife, don't tell her you're bringing her here about it, but I have the world's largest bounce house coming here, Big Bounce America. That thing takes like 2,300 1-inch, 36-inch long stakes. It covers up the whole grass field there. So we're kicking that off April 4th, 5th, and 6th. We have multiple sessions by age range. It's all online now. You can go on the Rock City Dragway Facebook site, click on and get your tickets for that. But just to let you know, we purposely put in that we have an all-adult session. So I'm working on my aerobics. I encourage you to do the same, Lee. But bring your wife out. Opening day for the track, ironically, is that last day on the 6th. So we intend to blow this thing out as we open up 2025 in a big way. And then, again, out of the spectrum of drag racing, May the 24th, we've got the world famous Isley Brothers here, Grammy Award, Hall of Fame right here on May 24th, Memorial Day weekend. We've got the blues, the old school blues and funk festival here. And then at the end of the year, we've been working this for almost 2 years, but they're coming. And when I say they're coming, that is Sick Week, Tom Bailey, the whole crew, Six Smokies, October 12th through the 19th. They're starting here at the Rocket City Dragway. So we got that Sunday. We'll do tech and all that on the Monday. We're racing here at the Dragway, and then we're coming back for the finals on the 19th. But Jenny and Tom and the team there at Sick the magazine are just doing great things. And just to have them to come to the South, again, all 8 Mile racing. They're going to be at, we're going to be at Huntsville. We're going to be at Music City up in the Nashville area. We're going to be with Rich and his team up there. We're going to be with West Clapp up in Knoxville. We've got the Faro Gang up in Brainerd that we're going to be at. But that is going to be, and the crazy thing is, first time ever, but gassers are the featured class. They've had over 100 and something submittals of gassers. So these gassers are going to do the drag and drive. They're going to park your truck and trailer, and you're driving. You can't have your vehicle towed. So there's a lot of unique things going on behind the scenes there with that. Some of these guys are putting, SP2 kind of NASCAR motors in their gassers to make the trek, but driving each day and getting to see all of that here at all these southern tracks is going to be, we're expecting some of the biggest crowds ever. Tickets go on sale, or the entries go on sale this next Saturday, the 22nd. And we're just excited about what this brings, to our facility and all the other southern facilities here, going up to the tail of the Dragon. And the checkpoints are going to be cool. And again, just excited to have what all the things that Sick Week brings for a drag and drive event here in the Rocket City.
What an honor. So cool that you all are going to be able to get the, start that off. And yes, I agree, Dave W. Gasser's doing the drag and drive is going to be something to see. It's going to be something to see Gasser's doing the tail of the Dragon. That is going to be wild. And I might have to shoot up there to get just photos of that. But it's going to be.
You think the 3.5-inch skinnies, somebody needs to carry a spare with them?
Oh, man, yes, several spares. It's going to be quite interesting to see how they navigate that for sure. Legendary, infamous, famous section of road that people love to hop on for their motorcycles, but can certainly be challenging beyond.
This is going to be talked about for years. I mean, this is it. I mean, again, working with the Sick Week team for over the last 2 years to kind of pull this thing together, and we found out at PRI, I've been holding that secret for so long. I hadn't told you or anybody about it. And, and just bam, here it is. And, interesting, the dialogue we had about the Sick Week opportunity, the number one thing you got to ask, well, hey, it's not quarter-mile racing. And, after they got a chance to visit the track, look at the racing, look at the all the opportunities, again, to bring this to a new audience, a new set of fans, what I call a rabid set of fans when it comes to horsepower and speed. And, we're expecting big crowds. I do expect this to sell out. An opportunity also for people that want to participate. They've got a thing called Sick Ward as well. What Sick Ward allows you to do is you get to do everything that the racers do. You get to you're following along on the crews and the checkpoints. You're staying, at the hotels the racers are staying at. You're coming to the tracks. The only difference is you're not racing. They've got car shows and cruise ins that allow you to participate instead of racing. But Sick Ward is also on the site. But you can go to Sick Smokies or the Rocket City Dragway. We've got links out there. And again, tickets go on sale the 22nd live for that, and we do expect to sell out. And I encourage you, go ahead and tell you and the wife to put in your vacation and come on down, and let's just make the whole week of it.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Well, David, we're going to take a break here in just a moment, and after the break, we'll dive in particular, your adventures last year and maybe even some IHRA. You're an IHRA track, and we'll get your thoughts on everything that has been happening here.
Love to talk to you about that.
Yeah, interesting perspective and interesting what's been happening. We have Pete Dove in the comment section, the man who owns Dove Fuels. He's been to your facility. He was providing fuel there for Extreme Top Fuel. Had a lot of good things to say. You need to call him. He's got an altered, a bad altered as well.
I'm gonna twist. Me and you. I may have to drive up. Me and you just ride up to go see Pete. Pete's talking some nonsense that he may be taking a little bit of a break for a while. We're not listening to all that.
Right. Yeah. We don't need him taking a break. We need him out there running that car and selling fuel. This word from Dove Fuels. Fly right in your motorsports endeavors with products and services from Dove Fuels. Pete Dove is the owner of Dove Fuels. He is a racer himself in a nitromethane burning fuel altered, dubbed Back from the Ashes. He races with Driven Racing Oils, which produces a 70 weight nitro oil. But that is not all they make. They make applications for you on the oval track, whether that's dirt or asphalt, and for even you, the bracket racer, on the drag strip. And if you need nitromethane, Pete Dove at Dove Fuels is the one to call for a drum or even supplying for an entire series, as he is the official supplier of nitro for Nitro Chaos. If it's nitromethane or Driven Racing Oils, you need to contact Dove Fuels. Gentle name,
hardcore products.
Well, thank you, Pete, for all the support. And David, look, let's start last year. So I know you look over it, there were some great events, some good crowds. And then I would imagine there were some busts, in trying to get the facility back up and going and back at the forefront of drag racing, especially in the Southeast and in Northern Alabama. When you look back on last year, what did you learn? What do you want to change? What did work as well?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I learn every day. It's drag racing as a promoter, drag racing as a track director, as a track owner, is very humbling. And I think the toughest job of a track promoter is you're not just doing one event. You're doing multi events. So when you're doing 60 events and you got to promote all of them, and you got to find that niche of what gets the crowd going, what gets the fans, and what gets the racers support. And we had areas, and I think every single event, there's always room for improvements. Our team, from what I call a track prep and track surface, I felt really turned around in the year. Again, thanks to Kurt Johnson, the TBC team, and our staff here for what they're doing, and having people like Case, International Harvester, along with H&R, AgriPower, helping us with equipment and the tools we need to be successful here. That part is working well. We've still got to find the right mix when there's all this vast array of classes, and where do you focus at? Is it the shock and awe events? Those are coming into their own. We've got our Pro Mod series here. We've branched out. We've got our own Pro Mod, and this year we're doing something new where it's a Pro Mod Dragster series. So we've got the No Rules racing team. They'll have Outlaw Dragster, same kind of format as the Outlaw Pro Mods, Run What You Brung, but that's May 9th and 10th. We've got them again on July 11th and 12th, and that July 11th and 12th is actually, I'll come back to that in a second, but then September 12th and 13th, we've got Outlaw Pro Mods and Outlaw Drag. So it's 3 races, $5,000 to win. You'll note on that July 11th and 12th date there, you'll see that it says Outlaw Diesels. And yeah, that's right. We got the Diesel Truck Motorsports and the Diesel Drags coming to the Rock City Dragway. We're calling it the Redneck Horsepower Roundup, and we're super excited. Don't think we've ever had the diesel trucks here in the past of the history of this track, but it's going to be car show, it's going to be truck show, it's going to be diesels, outlaw diesels. This fits Alabama to the T. So we're excited about having that in place. We've got our IHRA point series that we're doing. We do also with Huntsville Engine, we do the Drive for Five. That's where we pay $5,000. We have a 3-day race. We've got Daryl Taft here with the Racers for Christ that does our Sunday service. So you kind of get the whole mix for that Drive for Five. And then we've got our IHRA series. As part of that, it's going to allow us to have the IHRA team finals here again. We're blessed to be able to do that. That's on October the 2nd and the 4th. And I think you've probably seen that IHRA's got some new leadership. It's been recently got purchased at PRI, and there's a lot of changes that are coming down the pike for International Hot Rod Association here in 2025.
Absolutely, a lot of changes for IHRA. What are your thoughts? You're a business owner, and you're a track owner operator, and you are still IHRA. And I remember asking distinctly the first time I ever had you on Between the Slicks on the Monday Morning Racer Network. Why IHRA? Because we're in this period of tracks having a lot of options, whether it's WDRA or going NHRA, and there is so much movement right now. I mean, Albuquerque Dragway just announced they're going to NHRA. They've been an IHRA track for a while, and we see Darlington make a move to NHRA from IHRA, and briefly WDRA, and just so much shifting
Yeah.
happening. And now there's a WDRA and IHRA partnership in networking. It's
I
an
think that
interesting
I think that's
landscape.
outstanding. If you'd asked me if I was king for the day, that would have been one of the first things that I would have done. Having those two organizations, be more cohesive, start to mesh and bond is a win-win. When you mention, NHRA, what Wally Parks and that team did to establish drag racing, it was, actually founded same way as IHRA, as a place that kids could go to have a safe place to race. You got to have that. And if you think about today, people talk about the good old days, and the early model Corvettes or the early model Chevelles or Hemi Darts or whatever they may be. Those were good days, but I'm telling you, the horsepower of these new cars, we had a brand new Porsche all-wheel drive come out here, still had the showroom sticker in it. This thing runs 690s and going down the track. So the good old days and horsepower are now. And having a safe facility to race on, getting WDRA and IHRA, you notice they're in talks. I don't think you'll see a lot of difference from this year, but my hope is that meshes back into one entity. You've got NHRA, and they've got their place where they do their big monster national events. I'm with IHRA. I'm loyal to what IHRA is doing. I made a commitment to them, and I intend to. I don't need a contract to do that. I'll give you my word, and I'm gonna try to abide by that. And if you look at what you had, Larry Jeepers and his team, they sold to Daryl, and you look at what Daryl's done. He's brought on Rich Schaefer. He's brought on Alan Reinhart. Everybody knows Alan from his announcing days. Got a wealth of knowledge when it comes to drag racing. They brought in a lot of new team members, and I'm sure you see this too, Lee. The internet has a lot of positives, but the internet has a lot of negatives. And what do I mean by that? You was asking me earlier some of the things that we need to work on, and some of the things didn't work. It's obvious at my age and my niche that I'm not doing very well in social media. I'm not doing very well with how we get the word out for the track, how you get the likes, how you get the comments, and that is a struggle that I've got to take some action to get some new blood in here to go do that. But the other side is you have some people that make statements online, and that is perception. And if enough people talk about it, all of a sudden they start thinking that's reality. And I don't think that's the case. And the number one word that I would use with IHRA is patience. We all need to be patient. This is a massive undertaking to go take a national sanctioning body and bring it back to its glory. If you look at what all of the feeds and all the things, you'll notice it's back to glory, back to glory. They brought the original IHRA meatball back, which I love. I mean, I agree with that move 100%. That is nostalgia. You can't replicate that. You saw a lot of the internet's got a lot of talk about the track buying situation. Okay. I think whether they're talking about Monday Morning Racer, Between the Slicks, or Rocket City Dragway, whether it's good or bad, they are talking about us, and at least we're getting recognition. With IHRA, you go look up Daryl with his business. His financials are, you can see them online. The guy has, and his team and his business has the financial capability to do what he needs to do to bring this thing back. And we can go say the glass is half empty and ridicule and ding and find every little strand to pull on, or we can be positive and say, hey, here's a guy that's willing to take his money and big money and put in different venues. Have all of those 7 tracks, all the contracts and all the things come together? No. Is that a process that's in work? Yes, I believe that's still in work. And again, we need to give Daryl and his team an opportunity to do that, bringing back the Pro-Am, bringing back the World Finals, allowing us to have the team finals here on the October the 2nd through the 4th is a great thing. Rich, long history and sanctioning body. You've got, again, Alan Reinhardt and the rest of that team. They're all doing great things with IHRA, and Rome wasn't built in a day, and the IHRA is not going to be built in a day. But I do think we all need to be positive.
I agree with that. I think overall, be positive and be realistic. You know, PR wise, I would have made some different choices, but nonetheless, I agree with you. People are talking, and people are talking about the IHRA more than they were 3-4 years ago. I don't know how many times I have seen on a show like this or Competition Plus Power Hour or on a YouTube video, people comment and they make the remark, I thought IHRA was dead. And it never really died. It scuttled its professional classes and operating, top fuel and nitro funny car or top alcohol funny car and pro mods, but it has always had that sportsman level to it, even before and after the split with the WDRA. But now people talking about it, there's life, there is smoke, and where there's smoke, there's fire, and it's going to continue to grow and continue to build. And I think it's rather ambitious what they're attempting to do, but I hope, as ambitious as they are with what they want to do, we're going to get something out of it, if not all of it. And I think that's good overall for the sport of NHRA drag racing. Look, you put together shows at Rocket City Dragway. IHRA, with its return to glory, nitro jams, and putting those back out there, what would you make the show if you were, as you said earlier, king for a day?
Ooh, I think the first thing that I would do, IHRA got founded in the South at Bristol with, I mentioned Larry Carrier family, and their roots were the common racer. And, when I was a kid, you go to an event, there'd be 400 or 500 sportsmen. I mean, IHRA had a lock in the southern region on sportsman racing. So I think getting that foundation back, you look at, we talked about West Buck, they had 82 cars at that World Series of Pro Mod. Pro Mod was designed, developed, and created, off of top sportsmen in IHRA. So IHRA's got a strong roots. You talk about whether it's Pro Mod, every year we'd go to multiple IHRA events, and you had the top fuel, you had the funny cars, people like from here, one of my idols growing up, Clayton Harris, unfortunately passed away some years ago, but Clayton was an innovator. He was one of the foremost top fuel innovators probably back in his day. But bringing those things back, and I do believe we got to be methodical about. I do believe getting that Sportsman Foundation with the points. They just got the membership portal back open for IHRA, so you can go be a member. Insurance, and hats off to Daryl, Rich, and the team. The insurance for the coverage for racers of being an IHRA member is larger than anyone in the world now. So I don't care if it's on the European racing circuit. I don't care if it's in other sanctioned bodies here, but IHRA, the insurance that you get in addition for being a member is just outstanding. So I encourage people to go on the site and be a member. All of the pieces that allow this thing to be and I don't think the word to say competition to NHRA. NHRA has their niche. What I would say is we need to do things that complement drag racing, and there's enough market share out there for NHRA and IHRA to survive and survive well. And when we talk about like what Daryl's doing, think about it in this perspective. You could take the amount of money that he's spending and probably go buy a pretty nice island. So you could go sit on the island and no stress, enjoy your life, and just do what you want to go do. And or you can get in this foray of drag racing, and that's what he's decided to do. And again, I think we got to be supportive and thank Daryl for what the drive is. You mentioned some of the PR. Could you have done those things differently? Yeah, maybe. But again, people are talking about the IHRA almost daily now, so that is outstanding.
I agree. People are talking. People are chatting. There is that old idiom. There's no such thing as bad publicity, and they're getting the publicity right now. And whether that's a meme here or a meme there. I mean, people are talking. People are chatting, and the spin's there. But in that spin cycle, hey, things can wash out and dry out and move forward. And we all hope. I don't know about all, but I know I do. I know you do. I think many of the people in the comment section, we hope that IHRA finds its place and there is another place for nitro cars and professional racers to go and get their chops in. I think there's a lot of room for top alcohol funny car racers right now. Top alcohol funny car racers overall are not happy in the NHRA, and it's not just injected nitro. It's deeper than that. It's a treatment issue, and for many years, top alcohol funny car competitors were not sportsmen in the IHRA. They were professionals, like the days of Mark Thomas, for example. They were right up there in a part of the top tier of the card on the show of the IHRA tours. So maybe that comes back for those guys and they have a place to race beyond even chaos and NHRA. There's a lot of potential, and I hope they navigate it well and we have IHRA return to glory. That will certainly be good for the sport of drag racing.
That's one of the things I've got to work on here too. The funny car thing is, I'm passionate about that. You go look at what Steve Boggs, Tony Bartone just recently did with the injected nitro car. But having one of those alcohol cars standing up on the line turning 9,500 is, until you've seen that, we've got to get that. I agree with you what you said about there's a niche for that market. We need to make that happen. And IHRA is got a plan to get there. And I think we just got to be methodical about stepping up through there. And there's a lot of other classes, like you just mentioned, whether it's the factory super stock, there's all of these, even in the radials. You take the radial racing and what Donald Long's doing, that draws a crowd. I mean, that is massive horsepower, small tire, anything goes. You don't know what, it keeps you on the edge of your seat because the cars are so unpredictable. It kind of reminds me of the radial racing is kind of AA fuel alters of the 2000s, right? Just because of the amount of unpredictability on that small of a tire. But you're going to get a chance to see that too. By the way, we just partnered up with forced inductions, turbochargers used all throughout drag racing, actually made just right down the road here in Hazel Green, Alabama. But Jose and his teams come on board, and we've got the radial throwdown. We're bringing radial racing back in a big way. September 5th and 6th. I'm still twisting the arm of Duck and Dillard and Scott Tidwell trying to get the drag radial series here, hopefully in 2026, and we'll keep extending that olive branch and giving our business cards out on that. Hey, by the way, also I was going to mention to you the American Harley Drag Racing Association, Bill Rowe and the team. Guess what? They're locked in. 8th Mile Racing, September 12th and the 13th, along with Pro Mods. We got Top Fuel Harleys here with the all Harley drag. So I haven't been this excited in a long time. I mean, if you've never seen top fuel Harleys run. Again, a lot of that occurs at the in the NHRA realm, but not a lot of chances to get to see that in down south in our area. And again, a deal we've been working for 2 years now, and it's finally coming to pass. And if you look at what IHRA is doing, that membership thing is critical. Getting people to sign up, be members of IHRA, get that bonus so that you get that insurance in the event that you did have a bad day. You've got coverage for that. But that's the area that we really got to work on. Me getting our IHRA membership, getting our team grown in size. We've got work there to go. This track will always have a strong foundation in bracket racing, and doing our Drive for Five with the Huntsville engine team. Andy Anderson and his group is a win-win. And if someone's got an idea for a race, there's just so many different classes, so many different styles of racing. If it provides good family-friendly racing competition, we're interested in listening to it. Go on the Rocket City Dragway site and message us and let us know what it is. We don't expect to be experts in all these things, and we're pecking and poking, trying to find the magic elixir. And some days I wonder if I'm going to pull my hair out.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Well, keep up the good work, David. And what a stellar lineup of events. You've got a great mixture of different drag racing forms, but also, again, I applaud you for making, as you say, we're saying Rocket City Dragway, but it's accurate, and you all say it many times, Rocket City Event Center. It is more than just the drag strip. You're doing much more than that. I love the big bounce house and incorporating that the last day with opening day with the drag racing. All very cool. So keep it up. Look, it's not just you. It takes a team. So I want to give you the floor and take the time to thank whoever you need to for last year and going into this year and how far things have come.
Yeah. So first, we got pretty much all volunteer team there at the track. My son, he's only 19, but he carries a brunt of Dawson carries a brunt of probably the stress and struggles, but he's the guy that does all the track prep. We had a bunch of teams in here testing, getting ready for some of the national events here the last couple of weeks. And that track's fast. I mean, it's been good, probably the best it's been in a long, long time. So, kudos to them. But, having our sponsors that you mentioned, having Case International Harvester, having H&R AgriPower, having the people like I mentioned with the forced inductions, having we thrive on our local partners, the groups that are local around our area. It's great to have the big corporations, but LB Trailers has come on board in a big way. We've got one of our local guys here, Buster's, that's into a little bit of everything from selling jewelry to tools to fish and tackle, and he's done very well. Been a long time business person here in town. Hornbuckle Detailing, our one-stop shop to do all the exotics. We've got Eagle Collision. It's just a whole host of our partners that enable us to go buy this new track equipment, these other things to make this track, bring it, same way IHRA is bringing itself back to glory. Rocket City Dragway, we're on a journey, and I'm committed to making this thing work. And big thanks to Tom Bailey and from Sick Week, giving us this opportunity at the end of the year. We see just nothing but outstanding opportunity in drag racing. And if you're a up and comer and you've never been to a drag strip, we encourage you to come out. We'll show you if you've never been down the track. Last year at our Halloween cruise, our big car show and swap meet, we had 75 racers go down the track that had never been down a drag strip before. So kudos to, the sport is alive, the sport is well, and, I got thick skin. If people got suggestions, bring them on. We encourage the dialogue to keep this sport healthy for us.
Spectacular, David, man. Keep up the good work, and we look forward to seeing the upward trajectory into the stratosphere of Rocket City Dragway. Just so much wealth of rocketry you can throw in with.
Yeah, I
Rocket
might
City.
maybe you come down. You come on down April the 4th. Your wife can bounce on the 4th. We'll take a break. She can go up to we'll take her up to the Space and Rocket Center, show her a little history of that, and then we'll finish up on the 6th. Let her bounce a little more. She'll be in recovery mode, and you can get to watch opening day here.
Might just have to do that, David. Man, look, keep up the good work. Love the events. Love what you're doing. And if we can ever help in any way, let me know. Certainly between Chaos and Southeast Gassers Association drag racing this year, I've got a full slate. But when the door opens, you'll see me down at Rocket City Dragway. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, make sure all the fans go online, Monday Morning Racer, Between the Slicks. You like, you comment, you share it. Make sure you copy a friend when you share it. See, I'm learning, Lee. I'm trying to figure out all these things to trick that algorithm.
Yes, sir. David, thank you for the time, man.
Thank you.
Folks, that was David Sharp, Rocket City Dragway, doing great things there at that facility, and it's one to pay a visit to. He's got some great racing that's going to take place this year, from the Drag and Drive to Nitro to Pro Mods to Diesels, a full portfolio. I like hearing that at racing facilities, and doing beyond the racing card as well, with different types of events that impact that area and that community. That's smart. That's good. That's what tracks need to be doing. And David's certainly doing that with that facility. All congratulations and all well wishes to Rocket City Dragway to have a great 2025 and beyond. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break. After the break, briefly, drag racing news here on this episode of Between the Slicks, brought to you by McKinney Corp. This word from Destroyer 1320. I talked to Eric. He was living in Phoenix. Matter of fact, this commercial was shot in Phoenix. He now lives in Kentucky. They made a move, but you can still get your anti-theft devices from Destroyer 1320. They're simple yet effective. You need to protect your modern muscle ride.
If you own a beautiful modern muscle car like this 1320 Challenger, I'm sure you don't want it stolen. Because the Challenger and many other modern vehicles have an easily accessible neutral release strap. That was your coin holder in your center console, and beneath that there's this red cord that someone can pop, put it into neutral, and potentially easily steal your car. But at Destroyer1320.com, they have the TDS, Theft Deterrent System, which is a cover over that strap using factory mounting points so that you don't get popped by a thief. So make sure to go to Destroyer1320.com using promo code MMR for 15% off and get your Theft Deterrent System, TDS, and steal the thieves' hope.
And welcome back. A lot of news from David there concerning Rocket City Dragway and what they have got in the future. Very briefly, let me cover some drag racing news right here on Between the Slicks. I was at March Meet, and at March Meet had my eyes peeled and was able to spy this beautiful shoebox. And then on the window right behind the driver side glass there in the door, there was this sticker. Southeast Gassers Association represented at the March Meet, and also saw some folks walking around with Southeast Gassers Association swag there at the March Meet, which you can get by Stephen Smith at southeastgassersgear.com. for official Southeast Gassers Association gear, southeastgassersgear.com. People know what's up and they know what is good. And in the drag racing world of gassers and nostalgia drag racing, one of the top shows, arguably the premier show, is the Southeast Gassers Association drag racing. The first race of the year is next weekend, March 21st, 22nd, there at South Georgia Motorsports Park. That is going to be the biggest venue ever for the Southeast Gassers Association concerning a points earning event. It's going to be a spectacular firing up to the season for Sega. And then on to Shady Side Dragway and what is being called the Bama Brawl. First time ever, I believe, at Holiday Raceway in Woodstock, Alabama. You've got those shows March 21st, 22nd, April 4th and 5th, May 2nd, and 3rd for the Southeast Gassers Association. Drag racing happening right now. Well, maybe not right now, depending on the weather, but Nitro on the Bayou, the Nitro and Funny Car side of it, wrapped up yesterday. But you still have racing that you can catch, and it's on NHRA YouTube and NHRA.tv down at No Problem Raceway, another fine facility in the drag racing landscape. No Problem Raceway, Nelson Hoyas doing great things down there. You can catch that action today and tomorrow. Just check it out on NHRA.tv and NHRA YouTube. They are streaming for free. Remember, the Arizona Nationals will take place also next weekend. So, look, if you're on the East Coast, I highly recommend come to South Georgia Motorsports Park and catch Southeast Gassers Association action. But if you're on the West Coast, you've got NHRA Mission Foods Series drag racing with Nitro Top Fuel, Nitro Funny Car, Pro Stock Motors. Well, maybe not Pro Stock Motorcycle. I don't remember if they're on the list or not. Nonetheless, you've got the professionals out there, along with the Lucas Oil Sportsman Racers, March 21st through the 23rd there at Firebird Motorsports Park. So glad that we still have Firebird a part of the portfolio, and that area is represented well in drag racing. In drag racing news beyond races, Robert Hight, I wanted to briefly mention that he stepped down as president of John Force Racing, and you can search and find more information. And he's bought a gun company, and he's going to be leading that, and that's a part of his business portfolio now. Robert loves guns. He is an award-winning skeet shooter, and there's even some wild stories of like people bringing a gun to the track and getting it through security and nobody ever checked. But it was his gun, it was firearm, very responsible nonetheless. And he is. I want to say this. I want to say concerning Robert personally, he's one of the greatest of all time to do it. And Robert, if you ever hear this, I just want to say thank you. Robert always had time for someone like me, even when I didn't have 77,000 followers on Facebook, and I didn't have the subscribers that I've got now on YouTube, and I didn't have the following that I've got on Instagram and all those metrics. He had time for someone such as a Lee Craft Monday Morning Racer, and was encouraging and was an individual that was real. And I don't think he had to be, because it's fascinating, the juxtaposition. You've got Robert Hight and all the wins, all the championships, president of John Force Racing, at the top, if you will, in the world of drag racing. And yet he's got time for someone like me. And then there's someone that is no wins, no championships, small team, and yet they think that they're something they're really not, and they don't give time to someone such as myself or the media overall. Robert, whatever you do, enjoy it, have a blast. Maybe one day, hopefully, we'll see you back in some type of car and at the races, but thank you for your time and for your support. It is much appreciated. The future of John Force Racing is going to be different for sure. And we'll see that become evident certainly in 2026. And the drag racing world will look different. But with all of that said, I want to remind you that may he rest in peace, but we are beyond Don Schumacher Racing being this force in drag racing. And how many people said, well, oh, when Don's out of it, the sport will be dead. It's not, folks. The sport is bigger than Don Schumacher Racing. It's in fact bigger than John Force Racing. It will continue. It will move forward. It will look different. But you can see the future in what Antron Brown Motorsports is doing and what Ron Capps Motorsports is doing and others. So don't be Chicken Little. The sky's not falling. Thank you, Robert. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Remember, on the Monday Morning Racer platform, you can see Top Fuel Eliminator, full eliminations coverage from the 2025 Good Vibrations Motorsports March Meet. You can also see AA Fuel Altered coverage on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel, and it dropped this morning from the March Meet, the big class, Nitro Funny Car. You can see that action on the Monday Morning Racer YouTube channel. Thank you all for watching. And yes, you're welcome for the stream, Jacob. And thank you to each and every one of you for watching. Be on the outlook next week. I hope that we can either have one big show with Blake Bowser and the March Meet winners, or we go individually episode by episode and talk with Blake Bowser, promoter of the March Meet and now the California Hot Rod Reunion there at Famoso Drag Strip, along with Kyle Huff, the winner in AA Fuel Altered, Pete Kaiser, the winner in Top Fuel Eliminator, and John Capps, the winner in Nitro Funny Car. And maybe even have Mike English come along for the ride. You never know. But we're going to dive into March Meet and recap it, talking with the personalities of the people that won that beautiful and distinct trophy that is the March Meet Trophy for the Good Vibrations Motorsports 67th running of the March Meet in 2025. Thank you all for watching. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow Monday Morning Racer on Instagram and Facebook, as well as X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. To each and every one of you, thank you for watching. God bless, and keep the pedal to the metal.
Hero Soap Company is a veteran-owned establishment that produces all-natural, essential oils-infused soap that is sold with a portion of the proceeds supporting other veteran groups. Hero Soap Company. Heroes supporting heroes. Be a hero yourself and buy a bar and let freedom fling.